When I arrived at the small family dinner, I saw 80 guests and a banner that read, "Welcome, baby Emily." My mother laughed and said, "We spent your bonus on family joy." I stayed quiet and replied, "Noted." That night, I logged in, froze their accounts, reversed 14 transactions, and withdrew the entire $9,800 bonus. By morning, something about the property had. My mother beamed like it was the Oscars. "Surprise," she called out, arms wide. Then quieter, but still loud enough for everyone near the shrimp platter to hear, "We spent your bonus on family joy." She laughed like it was a punchline. I stood in the doorway, stunned. I hadn't told them about the bonus. Not really. I mentioned a raise. A good quarter. But not the check. Not the actual number. "Noted," I said. That was it. Nobody noticed my flat tone. They were too busy dancing around in pastel. Emily was glowing in white lace like she was royalty. My sister. The same sister who forgot to pay me back for her rent last year. The same sister who called me an emotionless calculator at Christmas because I didn't cry at the Hallmark movie she made everyone watch. That night, after the final guest had taken their gift bag and the balloon arch had sagged into something sad, I logged in. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just froze every joint account, reversed 14 transactions, and quietly withdrew the entire $9,800 bonus from the shared family savings I'd stupidly agreed to set up last year. It had my name on it too. So legally? Not even theft. Just correction. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I just needed to protect what was left of my peace. Not through revenge, but through clarity. Through truth. By morning, something about the property had changed. And not just in the way the garbage bags were piled high by the door like broken promises. No. There was a note on my old room's door. A post-it in my mom's cursive. "Please don't overreact. We did it for Emily. She's family. She needs this." I left the post-it where it was, grabbed my laptop, sat on the edge of the guest bed, and opened the folder I swore I'd never use. It was called Receipts. Because if they wanted to start a war over family joy, they were going to learn what that actually costs. I didn't speak to them for 5 days after the small family dinner. 5 days of silence. No texts. No calls. Just me and the Google Sheets file where I tracked every single dollar I'd sent their way since 2021. Rent payments, $6,300. Medical bills, $2,480. Emily's emergency car repair, $1,900. Groceries recurring $125 per month. Streaming services on my card, for platforms. My mom's wine subscription, still active. I was a walking ATM with a Wi-Fi password. The 6th day, my sister called. I didn't answer. Then my mother left a voicemail. "Honey, we know you're upset, but you're overreacting. It was just a dinner. Emily's having a baby. She needs support right now. We thought you'd be happy." I played that message 5 times. Not once did she say thank you. Not once did she apologize. I decided to pay them a visit. Not because I missed them, but because I had questions. When I pulled into their driveway, Emily's new SUV was parked out front, the same one she'd claimed she couldn't afford a down payment for 2 months ago. I recognized the dealership sticker. I'd taken her there. I'd co-signed. She'd said it was for job interviews. She wasn't interviewing. She was hosting influencer brunches with pastel macarons and overpriced centerpieces. I saw the reels. I saw the hashtags. I walked in without knocking. "Hey," Emily chirped, sitting at the dining table surrounded by boxes from Baby Bloom. "Look who decided to grace us with his presence." My father looked up from the kitchen island. "Don't be dramatic. Your sister's pregnant, right?" I said. "So that makes it okay that you emptied my bonus into a fake baby shower with 80 guests?" He scoffed. "It's called giving back to the family. Try it sometime." I stared at him. "I gave you $9,800. And what? You want a parade for that?" he snapped. My mother interjected. "We thought it would be good for everyone. Joy brings blessings. Joy brings overdraft fees," I replied. Then Emily stood up and smiled like the villain in a Netflix drama. "You always make it about you. Just admit it. You hate seeing other people happy." That was the line. That was the moment I stopped hoping they'd change. I left. Again. That night, I opened the hard drive I'd been meaning to go through for months. A backup drive from before I moved out. I wasn't even sure what was on it. Turns out, Emily had used it once. Backed up her entire laptop. Forgot to delete it. I found everything. Screenshots of our private texts, edited to make me look violent. Voicemails from me, spliced together with different tones to fake threats. One folder titled Insurance Claims with fake receipts and notes that included my name as a witness. Another labeled Bonuses with a photo of a whiteboard. If we say he gifted it, it's legally clean. I printed everything, and then I made a folder. Family ledger. The next morning, I got a text from my dad. Emily said you were looking through old files. Let it go. Don't do something you'll regret. I replied, too late. You should have thought of that before the shrimp tower. Then it got worse. I checked my credit report. 3 new inquiries. All from banks in their city. My mother had tried to open a card in my name. She used my SSN. I recognized the handwriting on the scanned application. She forged my signature. Badly. I confronted them in the family group chat. Attached, screenshots, timestamps, the file path. Message, you have 48 hours to explain. After that, I pressed send. My aunt left the group. Emily replied, this is harassment. My father sent a thumbs up emoji. My mother replied, you are tearing this family apart. 47 hours later, I got a call from my bank. A $4,500 wire attempt had been blocked. Recipient? Harris Family Trust. I'd never heard of it. The bank asked if I knew E. Harris. Yes, I said. My sister. No, I told them. I never authorized that transfer. Yes, I would like to file a fraud report. 10 minutes later, I got an email from Emily. Subject line. This is not what Mom wanted. No body. No signature. I didn't reply. By Friday, it was all unraveling. Their friends started calling me. My uncle. A cousin I hadn't spoken to since 2014. Someone even messaged me on LinkedIn with a passive-aggressive, hope all is well. Heard some weird things. Weird things? You mean the time you took advantage of your own son to throw a fake baby gala for your manipulative daughter? Or the part where you forged documents in his name? Yeah, I'd call that weird too. But I wasn't done. That weekend, I scheduled a meeting with a family lawyer. I brought a folder of receipts, labeled each file, organized them by type, financial, digital, emotional. I showed her the backup, the forgeries, the texts. She said one word, leverage. Then she asked the most important question. What do you want? I smiled. An ending. With fireworks. On Friday morning, I got a text from my father. No greeting. No emojis. Just, let's talk. Man to man. Workshop. 7 p.m. The workshop wasn't a metaphor. It was the actual old shed behind their house. The one with a rusted toolbox, a cracked light bulb, and his dusty work hard or shut up sign still hanging above the window like it meant something. I didn't reply. I just showed up. He was already there, sitting on a folding chair, beer in hand, cigarette behind his ear. He smiled like we were about to watch a game. So, he said, you finally here to drop the drama? No, I said. I'm here to see if you still have the nerve to speak to me. He laughed, took a sip. Oh, come on, don't start. Look, Emily's pregnant. You want her having a kid in the middle of a scandal. I didn't speak. He took that as permission to keep going. You and me, we're men. We handle things quiet. No screenshots, no banks, no lawyers. We handle things quietly. No need for drama or outsiders. Then he said the real reason I was there. We clean this up, you pull back the fraud claim, and maybe this family gets back to normal. You good with that? I reached into my bag, pulled out my tablet, and placed it on the dusty tool bench. No, but I think you should hear something. I tapped play. He won't even notice. He's soft. Predictable. Give him a guilt trip and he'll hand over the whole thing. It was his voice. From a recorded call with my mom. I cleaned it up. Edited out the silence. Left just enough poison to taste. His eyes froze. That's out of context. Sure, I said. Here's the rest. I swiped again. Brought up a scan of a loan application filed under my name. His handwriting. His forged signature. A browser log showing the IP address. The session history. The timestamp. And then I opened the next one. An Instagram story from Emily. Her holding a brand new iPad. Caption. Bought it with my silent investors' guilt bonus. He stopped drinking. You don't get it, he muttered. Emily's always needed help. You're strong. You've got the salary, the tech, So that makes it okay to rob me? I said flat. He didn't answer. Instead, I pulled out a manila envelope and tossed it onto the table. A copy of the fraud report. The original is with the investigator. Oh, and one more thing. The door creaked open behind us. Jake walked in. Emily's ex. The one she claimed was abusive. Dangerous. Emotionally destructive, she said. I used to believe her. Hey, Jack, Jake said calmly. Thought you might want to hear some things. He held up a folder and began to speak. He told him about the fake pregnancy scare, about the threats, the way Emily demanded money, or else, about the documents she drafted, step-by-step plans to destroy his reputation if he ever left her. She told me your son was weak, he said. Turns out he's the only one in the whole family with a spine. Jake opened the folder. Emails, screenshots, audio. One clip played on speaker. He doesn't know. I used his name for the paperwork. He'll never figure it out. He trusts me. Emily's voice. Not even disguised. My father backed into the wall, pale and silent. I didn't know, he muttered. No, I said. You chose not to know. Then I leaned closer, looked him in the eye. You lost me. Not this week. Not this month. For good. And I walked out. As I stepped into the evening air, I heard Jake's voice behind me, calm but sharp. By the way, Jack, if any of you come after me again, I go public. By morning, something about the property had changed. A notice was taped to the front door. Sale of shared interest pending legal resolution. It wasn't handwritten. It wasn't subtle. It was bright orange, stapled to the frame with cold intent. By noon, Emily had called me 23 times. My mother sent 3 voice notes, all of them crying. My father sent just one text. You're making a mistake you can't walk back from. I didn't respond. Instead, I uploaded a document folder titled Family Transparency Initiative. No drama. No hashtags. Just facts. Inside were PDFs, screenshots, recordings. The loan documents in my name. Audio of Emily bragging about manipulating me. Photos of the baby shower that cost $9,800 from my bonus. A timeline of every transaction, lie, and public humiliation. And of course, the letter from the county confirming I had sold my 50% share of the house to a legal firm. They didn't know I still had partial ownership. It was the last card I'd held. They thought I was bluffing. They forgot I was raised by them. The fallout started within hours. A neighbor posted a photo of the orange notice to Facebook with the caption, Harris House in trouble? Another neighbor commented. About time someone stood up to those people. That same afternoon, I received an email from a local news blog. They'd seen the documents. They wanted a statement. I gave them one line. Sometimes you have to burn the legacy to escape the inheritance. They made it the headline. That night, my mother posted a 7-paragraph Facebook rant. She called me ungrateful. Said I betrayed the family. Said certain people don't understand how hard it is to be a parent. She included a picture of me from 2009, braces, acne, and all, with the caption, I raised this boy, and this is how he thanks me. The post got 14 likes, all from relatives I haven't spoken to in years. Aunt Teresa commented, sending prayers. Stay strong. I didn't reply, but I did log into LinkedIn and remove every family connection from my profile. I didn't want them near my name. 3 days later, Emily uploaded a video. Her face was pale. Her eyes, perfect tears. The music in the background was dramatic piano. Sometimes people break you, and they call it justice. My brother used to be my best friend. I don't know who he is anymore. The comments were brutal. Someone posted, isn't this the girl who faked DMs and forged loan papers? Another said, she's the reason women get accused of lying. One user found the clip of her voice from the leaked audio and synced it with the baby bump photos from the party. The internet did what it always does, turned pain into pixels, turned victims into villains. And this time, they were right. Jake messaged me a week later. She texted me, said she's pregnant. Again, probably fake. I blocked her. He added, you did the right thing, man. Wish I had your spine. I didn't feel victorious. I felt clear. There's a difference. My father, predictably, stayed silent the longest, until a letter arrived at my apartment. No return address. Just typed text. It read, you think you've won. You haven't. Men like you always come back when the silence gets too loud. You'll crawl back. They always crawl back. He signed it. The man who made you. I laughed when I read that part. Because he didn't make me. He tried to break me. What made me was the silence. The pretending. The years of biting my tongue while they drained every cent and called it love. He didn't make me. He taught me what not to become. The law firm that now owns half the house sent them a formal demand letter. Either buy out the interest or vacate within 90 days. Turns out, shared ownership with a silent partner can get inconvenient. I forwarded the letter to Emily with a short message. You threw a $10,000 party. Let's see how you do with property tax season. She replied with a single emoji. I didn't block her. I didn't care enough. That weekend, I posted one last update. A single photo. No caption. It was a picture of a new sign outside my apartment building. The one I just had installed by the door to my new studio office downstairs. Burn Ledger, Personal Strategy and Digital Forensics. That was the name I chose. Because if they ever try again, I'll be ready. And if someone else ever feels like I did, I'll show them how to fight back. The check cleared on a Thursday. $11,742.28. Direct deposit from the liquidation of the Harris family home. It wasn't a gift. It was compensation. And it was mine. It took months. Depositions. Court filings. A forensic audit. But justice doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be final. The judge read the verdict in under 5 minutes. The defendant knowingly forged financial documents using the plaintiff's identity with the intent to secure personal gain through fraudulent means. Full repayment is ordered, plus penalty, plus costs. My father didn't even show up to the final hearing. He sent a note through his lawyer. This is a witch hunt. I won't play along. Emily sat in the corner like a failed audition. Head down, lips tight, no tears this time. Just silence. My mother watched the ruling like she was waiting for someone to stop it. No one did. By the next morning, the house had a for sale sign in the front yard. A week later, it had new owners. They tore down the flower bed, ripped out the mailbox, painted the shutters black. It didn't look like a family home anymore. It looked like a purge. My lawyer called that afternoon. They've transferred the money. You'll receive confirmation shortly. Legally, they're not allowed to contact you again. If they do, call me first. I thanked her. She said, I've handled a lot of cases like this, but never one where the son played it this clean. I didn't say anything. There was nothing left to clean. That evening, I sat on the floor of my new office. Hardwood, quiet, uncluttered. The company sign had arrived earlier that day. I peeled back the cardboard, slow and careful. Burn Ledger, Strategic Recovery and Risk Defense. Underneath, never again means never again. I wasn't chasing punishment. I was choosing peace. I hung it on the door myself, drilled the anchors, screwed it in. No help, because that's how it had always been. A week later, a letter showed up at the old P.O. box. Handwritten, sloppy, torn envelope. You've made your point. We've lost the house. Emily's suffering. Your mother's not well. If there's any part of you that still believes in family, pick up the phone. I put the letter back in the envelope, taped it shut, and fed it through the shredder. That same day, I walked into a credit union and closed the last joint account I had with any of them. The banker asked, Are you sure you want to do this? It's permanent. I nodded. That's the point. She slid a folder across the desk. Final account closure. I signed without blinking, then handed her a pre-written note. Please notify all associated cardholders that the account no longer exists. Any future charges will be declined. Emily tried to run a charge the next morning for $112.99 at some boutique baby store. It bounced. She tried again. It bounced harder. That's when she texted me. I'll pay you. I'll give it all back if you just stop this. I replied with a number. $1, 942.16. The debt is yours. She never replied again. They didn't return the full amount. The penalty came from the court, but the money wasn't the win. The win was the silence. No more late-night calls. No more guilt-wrapped obligations. No more being their emergency exit. They tried to use my blood as leverage, but I bled out the part of me that still needed them. That Friday, I changed my number. Only 3 people got the new one. The old number? Still active. Still attached to the joint Netflix account my mom forgot to delete. Let it sit there. Let her wonder who I am when the screen says this profile is no longer available. The last thing I did, I donated $2,000 from the settlement to a legal defense fund for adult victims of family-based financial abuse. Didn't post about it. Didn't tell anyone. I just clicked submit and moved on. Then I walked out to my balcony with a cup of black coffee in silence. For the first time in years, no part of me was calculating anything. Not a budget. Not a strategy. Not an apology. Just breath. Some stories end with reconciliation. Mine ends with clarity. I'm not guilty for being used, but I would be guilty for staying. They called it betrayal. I call it release. They saw conflict. I found closure. They said I'd crawl back, but I didn't. I cashed the check, changed the locks, and never looked over my shoulder again.